What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Terrier Owner YouTube channel. Josh here with TerrierOwner.com. We've got Luna out too with TerrierOwner.com, our favorite little Jack Russell Terrier of YouTube, out to talk to you about the health problems that a Jack Russell Terrier may or may not encounter. We wanted this video basically to be dedicated towards educating you on future health problems that you might encounter with a Jack Russell, what's common, what's not, and what can you expect. And we're starting right now. Alright guys, happy Sunday again. Welcome back to the channel. For all of you that are new to the channel and haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe down below. We do a video every week educating you about terriers in general, but more specifically, most of the time it's about Jack Russell Terriers or the puppies, Jack Russell puppies. So if you think that would be enjoyable or you appreciate this kind of content, give us a thumbs up. Those thumbs up help us immensely in every fashion possible. Get seen on the YouTube algorithm so that other people can find our content and find it as useful as you guys do. So again, thumbs up. Otherwise, let's go ahead and dive into the health problems that you can expect with a Jack Russell Terrier. Apparently Luna's pretty lazy today. It's a mellow out type day for her, but that's okay. We're only talking about health problems. We don't need her to do anything super fancy. And here's some of the great news for all of you watching that either want to adopt a Jack Russell or just did, is that on a broad statement, again, this is broad and I'm not a vet. I want both of those disclaimers out there on this video now before we dive into the specifics. So I'm not a vet and this is a broad statement. So yes, there are the outliers that exist. There are the dogs with more health conditions, but generally Jack Russells are a very healthy dog breed. They live pretty long lifespans, which is common with small dogs. We're talking about 14 to 17 years, sometimes longer. And throughout that span, it is more known for a Jack Russell to not suffer major issues than to suffer issues. So what I want to do for this video, guys, is I want to start with the ones that are the most common and kind of discuss when those will pop up in your Jack Russell's life. Again, we're going broad and I'm not a vet. So if I mention a specific condition and you have one that's 6 years old and I say that it typically happens later in life, I'm going broad so we don't have to have a bunch of comments going back and forth about how I'm wrong or I have a dog that this happened at a different age. Of course, still leave those comments for us. We want to know about it, but I hope you get the point that this isn't meant to be exact science. It's meant to be just educational and to help you kind of understand what you can expect. And number one, guys, that I want to talk about is eye problems. So Jack Russells are known to lose a little bit of eyesight or have issues with things like even cataracts. And this typically happens with these guys when they get older. So we're looking at the 10+ age area, and it's not necessarily guaranteed that it will happen, but one of the documented problems that is more prevalent with Jack Russells is eye problems. And in addition to eye problems, you also have hearing problems. So they kind of act like a typical dog in this fashion. A lot of dogs do have eye issues and hearing issues as they get older. For Jack Russells, those are probably the two most common problems that deal with their senses, so hearing and eyesight. And the most common problem that they typically deal with when it comes to joints or any kind of bone structure is knee problems, which for a Jack Russell, the most typical knee problem that you will see is what is called a dislocated kneecap, which is exactly what it sounds like. So they have problems with their kneecap and the joint in the knee having issues as they get older. So these problems that we're talking about, it's nothing that you necessarily need to do on your end either to prevent them. You know, they used to say, I remember a couple years back, they used to say for big dogs, you should avoid having them jump on and off of a bed to sleep, or you should avoid them having to do stairs for their entire life because there was a better chance of hip dysplasia. For Jack Russells, guys, listen, their kneecaps and having problems with those, it's probably going to happen whether you did something about it or not, because this is a hyper on the move kind of dog. You can't really slow them down in that fashion. The only thing I can really think of that you could do to make sure that you avoid it somewhat, or at least a smaller chance of avoiding it, would be really being choosy or picky about your breeder and, you know, getting some kind of paperwork or reports on the parents, on the bloodline. What kind of issues did those Jack Russell Terriers have, or that kind of thing. Honestly, you know, for big major health issues like heart problems or, you know, other things that could be fatal for a dog when they're young, I think that that's important. But when we're talking about like these common, we're getting old type dog conditions, I personally am not going to freak out about what breeder I use. Like, look, you know, dogs get old, people get old, joints wear out, You know, I'm sure we can all name somebody that's 40 or 50 years old and has had multiple knee replacements. Like, you know, this dog is still going to be a loving, energetic, and happy dog until they are very old, and those aren't things that are going to deter me from wanting to adopt one. So, but I am super curious if it would deter you. Like, what would you do in that situation? Are you worried about it? Did you do something specifically when you adopted your dog? That kind of thing. So if you have, be sure to leave some comments like that down below for us, just so we can kind of learn from each other and see what we can do to improve the odds of people not dealing with those conditions in general. These dogs are overly cuddly, and I think that that's probably going to continue until she's 18 years old. All right, guys, the next one is something you can directly control, so I want to definitely talk about this one, and it is something that all dogs deal with, but that you don't really realize that you could be causing the issue, and it's obesity. Look at this tiny, let me lift her up here. Look at this tiny little frame. You know, these are kind of stocky dogs. You know, they got a lot of muscle mass right in here, very broad shoulders, really strong upper body strength, but like, understand that you can feed them a diet that will make them fat, is where I'm trying to go with this. Understand that a super low quality, crappy diet is going to cause health issues. Like, there is a thing that, such as bad dog food, and I'm not saying like poisonous. I'm saying that there is low quality foods, there's high quality foods, and there's something called giving your dog too many treats or too much food in general. Don't do that. I'm not saying you have to give them a $100 bag of dry food, or that you have to buy like this super expensive vegan type food. I'm saying that you don't have to buy the lowest quality food, and you don't need to give them a ton of it. Usually a vet will recommend to you the serving size that is adequate based on your dog's body weight. You know, for my yellow lab, he acts like he's starving every day. I don't know why, my vet doesn't know why. He literally acts like he has not had a meal, even though he is slightly overweight. If you were to throw down a 50-ounce steak in front of him, he'd finish it in 4 seconds. That's just how he is. And we feed him Blue Buffalo. I'm not saying it's the best, but I certainly know it's not the worst, unless the worst dog food is $55 a bag. I'm assuming you can see where I'm going with this, and we only give him what the vet recommends, which is basically a cup breakfast, cup for dinner. That's it. You know, with Jack Russell puppies, you're probably going to feed 3 or 4 times per day. That's what's easier in their little bellies. Then they can slowly, gradually cut down to 2. But make sure that if your dog's getting a little overweight, that you're willing to cut back on the food a little bit. Don't let them get obese, because all you're doing is intensifying the potential for other health conditions, which could be joint problems, mobility issues, heart issues, diabetes, that kind of thing, which are the other health conditions I actually wanted to cover, or things like diabetes, which is going to be another impact from the dog's diet. It could also be hereditary, of course, just like it is for us humans, but you know, a lot of the things that go on with the dog are going to be controlled by diet and exercise. It's just like us, you know. Be conscious of what you're putting into your dog and how you're allowing them to burn out some energy and remain healthy. And your dog will subsequently live longer, be happier, and likely be more behaved if you're providing that kind of exercise. I have a video that is specifically all about exercise for Jack Russell Terriers, but be conscious of that, guys. Don't ever not adopt a Jack Russell worried that they have a ton of health conditions. They are healthy dogs, active dogs. They just need a good diet, some love, and some exercise. And you're gonna have 10 to 20 years of dealing with them chewing up your shoes, running around the house at 100 miles an hour, and doing things to push their boundaries every day. But we still love them. They're still awesome dogs. They find a way to put a smile on your face, and it's totally worth it for some reason. Guys, I'm super curious of what kind of health issues your dog has ever had in the past, especially if it's a Jack Russell Terrier or a Terrier in general. Be sure to leave us some comments. I'd like to know what we could learn more about or educate you guys on. Additionally, be sure that if you found this video even somewhat helpful or mind easing, that you subscribe to the channel down below. Again, guys, a thumbs up is a huge boost for us to get seen by other Terrier owners, so please don't forget to give us that thumbs up before you get out of here. And guys, please head over to terrierowner.com. It also helps us out immensely. The URL is displaying across the bottom of the screen here. Just like that thumbs up we asked for that helps us on YouTube, you specifically going to Terrier Owner and browsing around our frequently asked questions about Jack Russells helps us get seen by more people on Google. So if you want to help us out or you're enjoying any of our content, that is how you help us out. We appreciate you stopping by. Luna appreciates you stopping by, and we will see you all in the next video. Take care.